Hi everybody, Nay here from Nay Designs, with my Tivana hot tea. It's very good, and I'm wearing my Jessica Louise sweatshirt with cute little cat ears or bear ears, and so life's very good at the moment as long as I have my hot tea and my Jessica Louise sweatshirt on. So, Carolyn from Autumn Leaves Jewelry asked for me to do a video blog on how to make a money clip, because I was asking her questions about how to make one. And so that's what I'm going to do today. And making a money clip, I thought it would be difficult. It's really kind of easy. First thing I did, and I already did this because it's very boring and I didn't think you guys would want to watch me doing it, but the first thing to do is to cut out a piece of copper or brass, whatever you want to use, silver. I cut this to 4.75 inches long and 1.5 inches wide. I filed the edges and I sanded them. And what did I do with my quote? What I'm going to attempt to do on this piece is stamp a quote from Steve Jobs. I got it off the internet, because the internet is great for finding cool quotes. And it says, "My favorite things in life don't cost any money. It's really clear that the most precious resource we all have is time." Pretty good, especially to be put on a money clip. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the camera and I'm going to stamp that on. But before I stamp it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to anneal the copper. And what you do is you cover it with flux, and I'll show you, I'll do it. You cover it with flux and you heat it up until the flux disappears, and then you throw it in your pickle, and what that does is the particles in the metal are like this right now. And it kind of opens them up like this, and it makes stamping very easy, and it makes bending the metal very easy. Otherwise, we would be struggling with it. Okay? So, I will show you. I have a ghost in my studio. I don't know what that was. Something fell, I don't know. So I'm going to do that. I'll show it to you guys after I flux it. I will turn my camera back on, and first I'm going to sand it more, a little bit more. You guys don't want to see that, it's boring. You just sand. Okay? Alrighty. Okay, so we are going to anneal this now. I covered the entire piece with flux. It's on my little block here. Now we're just going to heat it up. Or not, you know. We want a nice big flame. And you want to keep the torch moving around the entire piece the whole time. You just don't want to heat up one spot. You want to heat up the whole thing. Okay, and the flux is starting to get all white and bubbly. And that's good. We want it to completely disappear. And you don't want any part of the piece to cool down, so you have to keep the flame moving. And some people might have other methods of annealing. This is how I do it. And it works good for me, so. And it's going to help when I stamp the quote on to the metal. It's going to take the stamps better, and it's going to make it really easy for us to bend it around the dowel, which is what we're going to use when we bend it to make a nice round crease. Now see, the flux is now turning clear and kind of gray. We're almost there. And the hottest part of the flame is right where the blue cone ends. So we want to keep that pretty much about 1/2 inch above the metal. Looking pretty good. Okay, it hasn't completely disappeared off the center of the piece, but I think it's okay. I think it's good. Turn your torch off. Copper tongs. Pick it up. Put it in your pickle. It's gonna sizzle. Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp it. You guys don't have to watch me. There's hundreds of tutorials online on how to stamp, I'm sure. And then what I will do is I will turn the camera back on when I'm done stamping it so that you guys can see how I bend it around the dowel. It's pretty easy. It's pretty easy. Pretty easy and straightforward. Alright, see you guys. Okay guys, so what I've done is I stamped in my saying, okay, took me a while to do, I did it, and then what I did was I sanded it again, and then I annealed it once more, just to be safe, okay, and what we're going to do now is we're going to find the center of our piece, and we're going to take a dowel and we're going to basically just fold the piece of copper on the dowel. Very easy. So, I already marked on my little measuring tape the half point, so I'm just going to, what I'm doing is I'm just marking it on the copper very lightly with the Sharpie. And it'll sand right off, so it's no big deal. It sounds like there's a dog or a child being beaten. I don't know if you guys can hear that. It's making a crazy noise. Anyways, okay, so between my two fingers, that's where I marked it. I marked it up here and I marked it down there so we know that it's straight, okay? And this is the dowel that I use, and I just had it in my studio and it works, and I mean it's huge, I haven't even cut it yet. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to place the dowel, I'm going to line it up with those two marks, and I'm just folding the copper around it. Okay, and then it's kind of bending, not straight, so I'm moving it. And there we go. Okay. There might be other ways to do this. I don't know. This is just the way that I use because it's what worked for me. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to kind of... Either there's a child laughing or crying, I can't tell. We're going to squeeze it. And because the metal has been annealed, it's really easy to do. And then, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the dowel, oh dear, this might be difficult, let's see if I can show you guys. Yeah, I'm using my flip camera, so it's kind of hard for me. I'm not using a camera on my computer or anything, but I can see the monitor, so I actually have like a mirror set up behind my flip camera so I can see what I'm doing when I'm recording. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of tap it with my rawhide hammer. And I flipped it over and I'm hammering it again. Just so I get, I don't know if you guys can see that because my mirror moved, just so I can get that nice round part here. And then I'll just continue hammering it flat. Okay. Not bad. perfect, but not bad. Okay. Let me see what's going on here, if you guys can see that. Okay. So, there we are. Okay, pretty cool. It's opened a little bit down here, so I can hammer that a little bit more down there. Squeeze it a little more. And then what I do when I oxidize is I'll usually take steel wool, or I'll take my brass brush and just kind of go over the surface. Okay. Then I use, because I've had it forever, I use the black patina solution used for stained glass. And it works the same as on metal, whereas on silver and copper. And I just kind of paint over it with a paintbrush. And I get all the little crevices, because what we want to do is fill up the space that is indented by the stamps. And I swear, I do stained glass also, and I've had this stuff for about 6 years, and I've only, I don't know if you guys can see it, I've only used about that much of it in like 6 years. It lasts forever. It's a lot less expensive than liver of sulfur. It doesn't smell as bad as liver of sulfur. So that's why I use it. Okay. Then, after I do that, I take some more steel wool, very lightly go over it. To get all the patina off of the copper. And then I'll flip it over, and I will do the same finish with the steel wool on the back. Actually, I'm going to hold it up so that I don't mar the copper by accident on the metal. And it gives it a nice little brushed finish. There we go. Cute little copper money clip. See that with the cool saying by Steve Jobs, "My favorite things in life don't cost any money. It's really clear that the most precious resource we all have is time." There you go. And when I was cutting out my metal, when I should have said this prior, but what I use are tin shears. Like that. And I had this piece left over. So what I might do, it's the same length as this thicker one, but as you can tell it's a lot thinner. So what I might do is make a smaller money clip with this, see how that turns out. But that's not for today, because I'm tired and I want to take a nice hot bath. It's starting to get cold here in Bisbee, and I don't like it at all. So, hence why I'm wearing my cute Jessica Louise sweatshirt. Curled up in here. And I hope you guys enjoyed the little tutorial. It's pretty easy. Pretty easy. The hardest part is getting this nice round circle, the bend in it, but I think it turned out pretty good. So, thanks a lot, you guys. Have a good one.